In 1965, an elderly gentleman stood on the deck of a freighter in Boston Harbor and wrote this prayer. How will I make them understand this message of Krishna consciousness? I am very unfortunate, unqualified, and the most fallen. Somehow or other, O Lord, you have brought me here to speak about you. Now, my Lord, it is up to you to make me a success or failure, as you like. 12 years later, Hare Krishna was a household word. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada had been more than successful. He had formed the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, a worldwide confederation of over 100 ashrams, schools, temples, and farm communities, and had made the chanting of Hare Krishna familiar to millions of people. He had written and published over 80 volumes of translation and commentary on self-realization, which are now standard in universities and libraries around the world. And he had gathered about him thousands of dedicated disciples. Srila Prabhupada became known to the world as a scholar, philosopher, social critic, and spiritual leader. But to his disciples, Srila Prabhupada was dearmost friend, father, and inner guide. The importance of the spiritual master to his disciples cannot be overstated. It is said that only by the mercy of the spiritual master can one receive the benediction of Krishna. And without the grace of the spiritual master, one cannot make any spiritual advancement. So the disciple's entire life focuses on the spiritual master and his instructions. In this relationship, the activities of the spiritual master are of monumental importance to his devotees. A disciple finds meaning even in the smallest gesture. Wherever he traveled, Srila Prabhupada would emerge daily into the chill and quiet of the early morning, and cloaked in a warm wrap, he would take a lengthy stroll with an entourage of students, disciples, and guests. Some mornings would find Srila Prabhupada immersed in contemplation or quiet appreciation of natural scenery. At other times, Srila Prabhupada would speak at great length and often with considerable intensity on various subjects. During these animated discourses, Srila Prabhupada would turn the profound Vedic philosophy into a practical cutting edge that penetrated every sphere of life and thought. The word Acharya means one who teaches by example, and the following unedited footage provides an intimate glimpse into the exemplary life of Srila Prabhupada. To most people, the daily activities of a spiritual master are a mystery, and it is interesting to see how such an important historical figure conducted his everyday affairs. What emerges is an endearing portrait of an authentic spiritual personality.
Is that escaping? Or it is intelligent? That you work hard and give it to me, we enjoy. This is intelligent. It is not escaping. And that is going on. The capital is They are engaging these rascals, asses, in the factory, and he's enjoying life. So that is intelligence. They let these rascals work hard and make a nice park for us, and we shall take advantage of it. This is intelligence. And it is called Ajagar Vritti. Ajagar Vritti, Ajagar means the big snake is called Ajagar. So these mouse, they make hole and want to live there. And the comfortable living, in the meantime, the Ajagar comes, he eats that mouse and lives comfortably. Our is Ajagar Vritti. You work for the whole to live comfortably, but we take possession of the house and live comfortably.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Paramahansa Parivrajaga Acharya Sattvaresvara Samadhati Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Bhagavad Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai, Ramacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Sri Radha Krishna Bhog Gopinath Sam Khand Radha Khand Girivardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Navadvip Dham Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Jamuna Mai Ki Jai, Guru Dwarka Dham Ki Jai, Swami Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, all glories to the Assembly. All glories to the Assembly. Thank you very much. This is a conversation between Maharaj Parikshit and Sukadeva Goswami. Maharaj Parikshit, 5,000 years ago, he was the emperor of the whole world. Normally, up to 5,000 years ago, the whole world was being controlled and ruled over by kings whose capital was Hastinapur, New Delhi. There was only one flag, only one ruler, one scripture, Vedic scripture, and the Aryans, the Arya, they were the civilized persons. You, Europeans, Americans, you are also Aryans, Indo-European stock. Maharaj Tejasi, grandson of Maharaj Parikshit, he gave to his two sons the portion of Eastern Europe, Greek and Roman. That is the history. Mahabharata. Mahabharata means great India. So, there was no different religion, one religion, Vedic religion. Vedic religion means to accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the Supreme Person, Absolute Truth. This is Vedic religion. Those who have read Bhagavad Gita, it is said there in the 15th chapter, Vedaishta sarvai ahamiva vedyam. Vedic knowledge means to understand God. This is Vedic. Later on, with the progress of Kali Yuga, Kali Yuga means the dark age or the sinful age, or the age for argument, unnecessary talks and fight. This is called Kali Yuga. That is going on. Since the last 5,000 years, the Kali Yuga has begun, and the beginning of Kali Yuga was cow slaughtering. So, at the present moment, practically there is no Brahmin, no Kshatriya, no Vaishya, only Shudras, fourth class men. So you cannot expect any happiness guided by the fourth class men. That is not possible. Therefore, throughout the whole world, there is chaotic condition. Nobody is happy. So, this is essential that the human society must be divided into 4 divisions. The Brahmin class means the first class ideal man, so that by the seeing their character, their behavior, others will try to follow. Jajjad acharati shrestha. So this Krishna consciousness movement means we are trying to create some first class man. This is Krishna consciousness, this movement. So, therefore, we have got these rules and regulations. No illicit sex, no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling. This is the preliminary qualification of a first class man.
Prabhupada, on our tape recorder here that we have, we can make it so you can play nicely, and then later on at our own time we will take to play the Madanga and Kartals nicely. This way we won't waste any of your time. Do you think that's a good idea?
They can redub over the tape.
See, we can, after you are gone, at our own time, we can play nicely. Do you think that is a good idea or not?
I do not know.
We think it will.
I am not an expert.
Well, if we can't get someone to play drum
We would like to do that.
then there's a choice. You want to try?
We would like to do it like that, Prabhupada.
Can do that?
No, if we
Yes.
get the...
Gurange don't do tea for them. Can just try. My father wanted me to become like this. Know everything, what is going on. He never wanted me to be a worldly man, earning money. He never wanted. There was some arrangement for my going to England after my college education to become barrister. So my father refused. No, my son is not going to be a mleccha. So, past, present, future, you exist. The body changes. Is it not clear?
That's clear.
Yeah. So therefore, the conclusion that when he will not have this body, he will have another body. You are sitting here. If you don't sit here, you go. That does not mean you are sitting, opportunity is lost. You are sitting here, you sit somewhere. Similarly, the change of body is going on. Therefore, the conclusion is that after you give up this body, you will have another body, as you have already done. What is the difficulty to understand?
The seeming difficulty is that while the body is different from that of a boy,
Different body must be different. Therefore, that is called change of body. Unless it is a different body, where is the change?
the memory is there of the boy, and or the spirit is there.
The memory, sometimes we may not remember. Just like this child, he may not have memory when he was very small, but you have got memory. You know, when he was a small child, you are doing something, or he was playing with some cats and dogs, But he does not remember that. But you remember it. So, simply because he has forgotten, does that mean that the incidences were not present? So this argument is not very strong because I cannot remember. You do not remember so many things. Huh? But the fact is this, that you are changing from this body to this body to this body. Therefore the conclusion should be, that after this body I will accept another body. And that's a fact. As you have accepted in this life from one body to another body, there is a process how to accept it. Similarly, under the same process, you accept another body when this body is no longer useful. Just like at night, you give up this body, you take your subtle body and you go somewhere. You are sleeping in your room, but you are working in a different place. Don't you do that? Mm-hmm. So, because this body is still useful, therefore you come to back again this body, and in the morning you wake up with this body. So death means when this body is useless, you do not come to this body, you accept another body. This is called death. That subtle body takes you from this body to the womb of another mother by nature's direction, that this soul shall get this kind of body. So the soul is entered in the womb of another mother's body, and then the body is prepared by the mother's blood and flesh, and when the body is sufficiently capable of working itself, then it comes again and begins its work. This is birth and death. The soul is eternal. Therefore, a sober man should think, why should I change my body? Why this trouble I shall take? That is human sense. If I am eternal, why not my eternal body? Eternal existence, why shall I die? This is human sense. Unless one comes to this understanding, he is animal. Because animal, by nature's law, is going on. He does not know. Then a human form of body, when he understands that I'll have to change this body, I'll have to get another body, then the question is, what kind of body I shall get? That is human intelligence. By nature's way, we are getting body, but that is on the selection of the nature according to my work. If I work like animal, I get animal body. If I work as demigod, I get demigod body. If I act as trees, then you get tree body. If you acted like dog, you get dog's body. Nature's way. Therefore you find so many varieties of body.
philosophy does not appeal. Natural. I want to love. It is not unnatural. When that love is reposed to Krishna, that is what it is. The Mahavadi, they are frustrated. Therefore they want to make this love into zero. They cannot understand Krishna's love with gopis. They think it is another edition of this material. How are you? Are you good, Prabhu? How are you? You look better. You are looking better, brighter. When I saw you leaving last week. We have got so much talent for serving Krishna. Everyone has that. That I am speaking. We have to do that. So that modern man can understand. Otherwise, we are repeating the same thing. They are repeating also same thing. Sense gratification. Punak punak charvita charvanana. But because that is material, they are not getting happiness. But the spiritual thing, we are chanting the same Hare Krishna, simply, repeating, but we are getting transcendental peace. What we are doing? Same Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So, process is the same, the subject matter is different. So why you are behind publication? Now all the big men are here. Why our books are behind? So if we wait for another birth, maybe we may not get even Bharat Maharaj. He also slipped, he became a deer. So we should always keep vigilant. We have got this opportunity, human form of life. Let us utilize it to the fullest extent and be fit for going back to home. That is intelligence. Not that, all right, I suggest again chance next month. That is not very good policy. Turnam. Turnam means very hastily finish. Turnam yateta amanuttu paseta yavat. These people are wasting time. They are resounding some sound, thinking that this sound will say, this is called foolishness, mura. Ask them that why you are shouting so loudly, chant Hare Krishna. They love.
What did Bhaktivinoda Thakur mean when he said, I'm going my work unfinished? And Bhaktivinoda Thakur stated that he was leaving this planet with his work unfinished.
So let us finish. We are descendants of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He get and finish so that we shall get the chance to finish it. That is his mercy. He could have finished immediately. He's Vaishnava, he's all powerful.
From the ancient histories of India, which date back more than 5,000 years, we learn of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Krishna exhibited his transcendental pastimes in the holy city of Vrindavan. At the time, the ruthless tyrant Kamsa was desirous of conquering the world. When the malicious king heard that his sister's son would kill him, he was ready to behead her. But her husband Vasudeva managed to pacify the sinful king and save her life. Devaki and her husband Vasudeva, both great devotees of the Lord, wanted the Lord to be their son. To fulfill their pure desire, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appeared before them in his majestic four-armed form. Then, at his parents' request, the Lord appeared as an ordinary child. To protect his transcendental son Krishna from Kamsa's wrath, Vasudeva carried the Lord across the river Yamuna to the home of Nanda Maharaj in the village of Vrindavan. Overjoyed at Krishna's presence, the village people held a great celebration. They never thought to themselves, Krishna is actually the Supreme Lord. He was their beautiful child, and all of them loved him without reservation. As Krishna grew up, Vrindavan saw many of his most extraordinary pastimes. Once, Kamsa sent a mystic whirlwind yogi to kidnap him. But Krishna choked the yogi and caused his death. Though he looked just like an ordinary child, the Supreme Lord could do anything. The cowherd boys knew nothing but Krishna. Each day, all of them would go to the forest with the cows and enjoy one another's company. Everyone in Vrindavan was pleased just by Krishna and Balaram's presence there. And to this day, the land of Vrindavan is Krishna's transcendental home. Pilgrims bathe in the sanctified waters of the Yamuna River, which borders Vrindavan on 3 sides. This branch of the Ganges is considered the holiest of all holy rivers because it once washed Krishna's transcendental body. Vrindavan consists of 64 square miles of flat, fertile land dotted with small villages. This is the area that Krishna and his cows and friends traverse daily. Through the ages, millions of Krishna's devotees have worshipped this sacred land. Vrindavan's oldest temple, Madan Mohan, was built in the 16th century. It overlooks the 6-mile path that encompasses the town. Vrindavan is located 90 miles southeast of Delhi, and all its 30,000 residents are devotees of Krishna. In the bustling markets, merchants sell their goods. Farm fresh produce. Milk and grain sweets. Including hot jalebis made on the spot. Costly silks, saris, and shawls. And everything necessary to worship Krishna. Krishna's devotees feel his presence in Vrindavan, and for them, there is no place more sacred. Krishna is especially remembered in his temples, and no less than 5,000 temples decorate Vrindavan's streets and lanes. Within many of the temples, great artists have memorialized Krishna's pastimes through marble carvings and paintings. Here we see Krishna easily lifting Govardhan Hill and holding it up like a giant umbrella to protect the townspeople from a torrential rain. One new temple of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness attracts people from both India and abroad. Gradually, Vrindavan is becoming world famous, and this center welcomes people of all nationalities. Here, one can learn the science of devotional service to Krishna. Modern accommodations are provided in the International Guest House. In the classic tradition, devotees worship Krishna and his elder brother Balaram. By his personal example, Krishna taught that the ideal life is a simple one. And in much of Vrindavan, life goes on this way. The people fulfill their needs not with complex technology, but with the land's natural gifts. By using the bull to produce grains and the cow to deliver milk, the people of Vrindavan live a natural and healthy life, absorbing their minds in the pastimes Krishna performed here 50 centuries ago. Each day, the cows wander to one of Vrindavan's 12 forests. Years ago, Krishna and his cowherd boyfriends would bring their cows to these same forests for peaceful grazing. Who would think that God spends his time in such a simple way? Krishna's activities 5,000 years ago were almost lost to memory until Lord Krishna himself returned to Vrindavan only 500 years ago, this time disguised as a great devotee, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Absorbed in ecstatic love, Lord Chaitanya wandered through Vrindavan's forests and recalled Krishna's pastimes. Everywhere he looked, he remembered Krishna. Lord Chaitanya spotted the Yamuna River. Many years before, Vasudeva had carried Krishna across this river to the home of Nanda Maharaj in Nandagram, and it was here that Krishna grew up. Lord Chaitanya also saw Gokul, where Mother Yashoda bound child Krishna to a grinding mortar after the Lord had stolen butter. And he saw Govardhan, the hill that supplied Krishna's cows with fresh water and soft grass. After taking his bath here at Govinda Kund, Lord Chaitanya danced ecstatically before the Krishna deity. Here at Chirgat, Krishna once teased the cowherd girls by climbing into a tree with their clothing. Lord Chaitanya worshipped this place as pilgrims do even today. Kund, the most glorious of all holy places, was just a small pond until Lord Chaitanya rediscovered it. On these banks, Krishna danced with his eternal consort, Srimati Radharani. In the evenings beneath this tamarind tree, Lord Chaitanya felt Krishna's presence by quietly chanting his holy names. His footprints show where he sat and enjoyed the beauty of the Yamuna River. The holy sites in Vrindavan were re-established as places of worship in the 16th century by Lord Chaitanya's foremost disciples, the 6 Goswamis. In the courtyard of Radha Damodar Temple, the Goswamis sat together to study and discuss the science of Krishna consciousness. Their realizations filled volumes. And they established temples to house the deity of Krishna, the transcendental flute-playing cowherd boy of Vrindavan.
Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radhe. Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radhe. Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan, Radhe. Sanatanir Pran Dhanna hai. Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan, Radhe. Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara, Radhe. Jiv Goswami da Pran Dhanna hai. Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara, Radhe. Radha.
When the founder of this temple, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, desired a deity to worship, Krishna manifested himself in his transcendental form known as Radha Raman. And today the Lord is still being worshipped with great pomp.
Jaya Radha Ramana, Radha Ramana, Radhe.
For most of us, spiritual affairs occupy only a fraction of our time, if any. But devotees of the Lord try to detach themselves from material affairs and absorb their minds in spiritual life. And for those who are serious and sincere, Vrindavan is the ideal place. Thousands of pilgrims join the townspeople on festive holidays such as Govardhan Puja, when a feast like this one is offered to the Lord and then distributed. Rich or poor, everyone relishes this special food that has been offered to Krishna with love and devotion. There are many holidays throughout the year. This parade is held to celebrate the day when Krishna's eternal consort, Srimati Radharani, appeared. Devotees sometimes walk 32 miles to circumambulate the Vrindavan area. For them, Krishna is still in Vrindavan as his deity and his holy name.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna.
In Vrindavan, Krishna is the center of attention, and he is served by everyone. Whatever is done in Vrindavan is meant for Krishna's service.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Vrindavan is more than a place on the map. To fully appreciate it takes an attitude of humble study and inquiry. A feeling of harmony with nature and the universe. And a spirit of love and devotion for Krishna. The transcendental exchange between Krishna and his devotee is tangible and real, but for non-devotees, it remains a mystery. In ancient India's Vedic literatures, a great devotee prays, "I worship Krishna, the primeval Lord, whose figure of beauty is tinged with the hue of rain-filled clouds, and who always revels in pastimes of love. I worship Krishna, who lives eternally in Vrindavan, where all speech is song and all walking is dancing. Vrindavan, the supreme abode, is known only to a very few, but is within the reach of everyone."
In 1965, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, a Vedic scholar and holy man in the renounced order of life, left India for America to transform a bold vision into a historical reality of global dimension. To fulfill the desire of generations of Indian saints who wished to see India's timeless spiritual culture benefit the entire world, Srila Prabhupada left India and sailed to the United States. When he arrived by freighter, he was practically penniless. But after nearly a year of struggle, he established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness in July of 1966. In the years that followed, the society grew rapidly, and Hare Krishna became familiar to millions of people. Srila Prabhupada became the focal point for the public's interest in the Hare Krishna movement. But he was never too busy to carefully answer any question. And with each and every encounter, he would open the doors to the ancient philosophical and spiritual knowledge of India. An Acharya is one who teaches by example. By his personal example, Srila Prabhupada demonstrated that the soul, the self, is naturally eternal, full of knowledge, and full of transcendental bliss. When a living being is awakened to his original constitutional position of Krishna consciousness, he becomes filled with sublime, exalted spiritual emotions that have no material counterpart. As a great self-realized and God-conscious saint, Srila Prabhupada often exhibited the spiritual happiness that Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita. That sacred and ancient fountainhead of wisdom has this to say about the final state of human perfection. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness and enjoys himself through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, he knows there is no greater gain.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You founded the Hare Krishna movement some 7 years ago in 1967, did you not?
Yes.
In a capsule, what is the movement?
The movement is to awaken God consciousness of the human being. The human being is distinguished from the animals, that the animals cannot understand what is God.
Mm-hmm.
And if the human being also does not understand what is God, then he is animal.
I see. And so your movement is to bring about an understanding of God among human beings.
Yes.
And Hare Krishna means what?
Hare Krishna means addressing the energy of God. Hare means the energy of God, and Krishna means God.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you were here yesterday and to attend your annual festival that was held here in Golden Gate Park, and we were there too. And in fact, here it is. A few thousand people came out to hear it. How many people are now disciples of the Krishna consciousness movement?
Dedicated life, about 10,000.
About 10,000 dedicated
in
ones.
the Western world.
Mm-hmm. Your Grace, is there any significance at all in the shaved head? Why are heads shaved?
We keep ourselves very clean, that's all.
Oh, it's just a cleanliness thing?
Yes.
Is there any significance in the color of the robe?
At least at the present moment, people think that by keeping long hair, it becomes very beautiful.
I see.
Yes. So we are against it.
Mm-hmm. Just as simple as that. Is there any significance in the yellow robes?
Yellow robe is the dress, those who are dedicated.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It could very well have been a blue robe. It's something that was arrived at.
This saffron.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Your Grace, why do you feel that so many people are pulling away from the traditional religions in this country, such as Christianity and so forth, and going for the trying to understand the Eastern religions? We hear a lot of swamis and gurus and other type of yogi and so forth. Why do you feel that people are pulling away from the traditional Christian standards here?
But we see that the Christian churches, especially I've seen in London, mostly closed. People are not interested, or the Christian leaders, they cannot make them interested.
Why? Did Christianity fail the people, which is why they're turning to other things? Or?
I think so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You say that Hare Krishna consciousness pretty much takes the absolute truths from the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, and the Vedic.
Yeah, everywhere.
Everywhere.
Religion means to understand God.
I understand, but do you feel that in getting truths from various places like the Bible and the Quran and so forth, don't you run into conflicts at all or contradictions in those particular philosophies?
No, I don't find any conflict because the ultimate goal is God. So you have to understand God and try to love Him. So you can go through any religious process. If the goal is attained, that you understand what is goal, and you try to love Him, then your life is perfect.
Why do we see so many of your followers chanting almost all the time?
Chanting means to keep association with God always.
So you have to audibly chant Hare Krishna?
Yes. This is transcendental vibration. Just like a radio message, if you keep contact with the radio message, then you know everything what is going on outside. Similarly, this transcendental sound, Hare Krishna, if you chant, then you keep connection with God directly.
Thank you very much, Your Divine Grace. It's been our privilege to talk with you and to meet you.
Thank you.
And hope that we can see you again when you return.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
We'll be back with more news in just a moment.
Very much happy because these American boys are helping. It is due to their cooperation the movement is spread all over the world.
Where will you go from here?
And in America, what is the date I entered in Hawaii?
She's asking where you will go after Dallas.
Where will you visit?
Oh, from Dallas, I'll go to New Virginia.
West Virginia.
West Virginia?